by the BOCC. To conduct the day-to-day operations of county business. To remove the day-to-day responsibilities from commissioners that would allow for better governance. Adds accountability to all county department operations. Allows efficient chain of communication. Allows for effective chain of authority. Allows for more direct decision-making. Allows for the connection of budget efforts with county entities on a daily level. Serves as a dedicated could serve as a dedicated grant administration person. Allows for commissioners to govern the county opposed to managing the county. Assumes all budget responsibilities for the county. Assures continuity from one county commissioner or one commissioner administration to the next. Allows for department head training and education policies and procedures. Would allow for commissioners to operate on a higher governance level. Would recommend improved management practices. And could be expected to generate some or all the manager's salary in grant revenue, depending on how the job description is written. So, I appreciate your patience, and I hopefully we can continue to have these meetings and others in a respectful manner. I've never appreciated the cheerleader mentality, although I think I understand it, that if somebody says something that you may agree with, without making 100 trips to the podium, I guess we demonstrate that agreement by clapping and yelling and cheering. But it's very demeaning to sit up here and have to sit through that. This is not a wham, nah stuff. This is, to this lady point that spoke, it's just a sorry way to conduct business in a respectful manner. I think all three of us bite our tongues a lot to try to be respectful. I think that's our job. Maybe it's not the community's job to be respectful. I don't know. But I would go out of here today not saying a lot of things that I would, in my personality, say, but they would not be respectful. So I'm not going to say those. But I do appreciate your willingness to sit here and listen to me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And I would like to thank everyone for sitting through all this, and for the most part, everyone was well behaved and respectful. And I appreciate that. And I wanted everyone to be able to be heard here today, because that is part of the process. And I will let you speak one more time, and then that will probably be it, because I thought we were done there, but I will let you respond. I would say, I'll refer back to my conversation the other day, because Michael Foster did reach out to me and wanted me to have more information. And I did reach back out to him, and we had a very good conversation. He presented this stuff to me, and
Kevin, could you give us a time frame of about when that was? Recently, or?
This was in the last week that I have talked to him. Actually, I believe it was the day before he flew out. And but I appreciated that, and I appreciated the conversation and the information he provided to me and the way that it was done. I have to say that I respect him greatly for that because we don't agree. A lot of this information is exactly why I believe we need to go the direction that I think we need to go. We were seeing the same issues. And I think we all see issues here. Where we vary is how we feel we need to move forward with that. And we're not all going to agree. We're not all going to agree. And as a group here, we're not going to agree. And I appreciate that. It's not always a pretty process to go through this either. When we all are in agreement, it's, you know, bang, 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 and we're out of here in 5 minutes, and everybody's got a smile on their face. But if we always agree, we're not doing it right. And I want to let you know that. I appreciate everyone's comments. I appreciate all of your opinions, and I don't take them. I will speak again to my mistake on the 29th. It does fall squarely on my shoulders. And I apologize for that. That being said, I still believe that this is the direction that we need to go. Yeah. I have
so I want to say something at the end, but you can let them know if they.
I will allow, just in the interest of making sure everybody is heard, I will allow, I think I saw 3 hands there that came up, correct? Yours, and yours. I will let you guys speak briefly again. You were up first.
Anthony Wheeler again. I have never heard anything so disrespectful as Mr. Flowers say that all the speakers who spoke here was nothing but a bunch of yah. You made it clear after that you don't care what anybody thinks. You care less, although that's what you're supposed to do. And I think that's the most disrespectful thing that was said here today. Yah. Reprehensible.
Thank you.
I don't think I need a mic, Janine Comfort, and I just had a clarification question. I think maybe Tom said it, I don't know. If you vote this in, if you vote for the county to have a county manager right now, which is what it sounds like you're gonna do, without even all of the information, but it sounds like it's gonna happen. What I heard was that then the commissioners after that can make whatever changes are necessary. Does that mean you could then take that away? I mean, vote for the position and then remove the position?
Well, I don't think
I don't
this,
understand why we would even go to that, do that instead
You want
of
the mic?
waiting to see what the recommendations are.
right, from my perspective, it's not either or. We don't have to take it away, or we could. Or just because we create a position doesn't necessarily mean that we're obligated to fill that position. We may change our mind. I don't know.
Okay, that's what I was trying to clarify.
So if I may, Mr. Chair, I respect what you're saying. Certainly we can take that out of context. When I said yah, I mean people standing up here yelling and screaming about all the stuff. I've heard everything that's said here today. I don't agree with some of it. But I wasn't trying to be disrespectful to everybody that talked here. I think my friend Mr. McMahon coined that phrase earlier today. Poor choice of words on my point, I will own that.
I have one more hand here.
My name is Nancy Drummond, and I believe I sent my emails to Mr.
Close to the mic, get close to the mic.
I believe I sent an email stating my position to Mr. Flower and Mr. Day. Mr. Flower did respond. He has responded to every email that I have sent. However, I believe he was dismissive in his answers. He didn't justify his position. And I understand today that you're gonna vote because there's two of you against Mr. Canada. Mr. Canada happens to represent my district. So you're gonna go ahead and vote for the county manager today because there's two of you. I don't know what to say. I think you're wasting money. I think the gentleman over there said it very well. We've got other issues. And it's a $500,000 5-year at least position that you should be doing. And it seems like there's a time management issue between the three of you and that you're not doing your jobs. And I agree that if you can't do it, Mr. McMahon said it, perhaps it's time to leave.
Yeah.
We've got some commissioners that need to do their job. And if you need to restructure things, as Mr. Wilson says, restructure. Do what you need to do, but I don't think we need county manager.
Thank you. And then, I'm not gonna keep going.
Just one final
So,
spirit of Ms. Lisa Frank.
Excuse
I
me,
think you
please.
guys would find that if you have a lot more
Excuse me.
support for your decisions, if you follow the process, that's all we're here objecting to,
Okay.
is the process.
Okay, I asked for to clarify a couple things. I will make it clear, I make decisions with all the information I can get. It's important to have both sides of the story, meaning, both presentations. I still think that's valid. I disagree with Tom respectfully on what Janine brought up, and that is we can't vote for something and then decide that we can, we could. That's like Nancy Pelosi saying, let's pass it and see what it says. And then we'll all love it, or we won't, and then we can change it. It's very hard to change it after the fact. No matter, it still takes 2 votes. It's a lot of hard things. And so the smart thing to do is the right thing. Get the information we can and to make the decision. That's why I still believe that we need to get that other presentation to, I don't care if it goes that just to me and Tom and Kevin. It needs to be you all to understand it, so you know what we're making our decision. But my decision, speak for myself. And I still think that it should be tabled, if only for 2 weeks. We gotta make sure that Michael will be back, and he's hanging out because he's working toward that end date. He would have been here today, or he was gonna be here, this was gonna be held yesterday. He'd have been here, I think he would have been here yesterday. Bottom line is, you can't pass it and see what's in it. I want to get the information before I vote. And so, we'll see. All right, that's all I have.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to adopt resolution 23-05, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Custer County, Colorado, to create the office of county manager. I think I'll take a roll call vote so that it's stated on the record as to how each person voted. Commissioner Canada.
I vote no, and I will sign that, and I will make note of that on the signature block.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
And Commissioner Day votes aye. That motion carries by 2 to 1 vote.
Comment, sir?
Yes.
I meant to bring this up earlier and I forgot. I had it written down. I just put it in my notes to your point, ma'am. The Board of County Commissioners did vote unanimously to adhere to the rules of to Robert's Rules of Order. I believe that was in 2020. But anyway, that's what we tried to do. Also, I have been held to this standard, and I expect this standard to be adhered to by this board. And I can say this with confidence because, believe me, gentlemen, I have been down this road. Doesn't matter what the outcome of the vote was. If a motion is passed, this board will support that.
Any additional items of business?
Yes, I think so. Can I see yours real quick? Okay. Yeah, so I have a question. And when you received the email, just like I did, I haven't heard anybody say anything about it. It has to do with the email that Kelly forwarded us concerning the request from the Underfoot Courts Commission on seeking information about the expenditures of the grant money that was extended to us. Commissioner Candy, you had indicated that you were going to take the lead on that. Have you responded to that email?
Yeah, I haven't responded to that email. I got a hold of. Not yet. I have responded by getting the data from Jennifer, who was moved, and then she had the statistics and all that in her system, so she's still trying to get that. They got her out of her emails, so we'll get it back as soon as we can. We'll get it to them.
I can speak to that too for just a second. As a matter of fact, Audrey from the state had actually sent an email to myself and to Greg this morning, asking if we had any submissions. And I did at that point respond that I talked to Jennifer to make sure there was nothing to submit, and then did respond to that email from Audrey that we had no submissions at this time.
We already submitted what we had, so we have the
She was
opposite.
looking
There's
for-
no new, there's no new, that's fact.
Yeah, I appreciate the update, the information. I sat on that commission. She has asked, June 2nd and June 30th, and I think it's critical. And obviously you just reported that you did reach out to her, so that was my concern. I don't think we want to do anything to jeopardize the relationship that we've built
Right.
with those folks up there. So Audrey Buller is the person that's in charge of that. I was pretty sure we hadn't expended any dollars. I certainly wasn't aware of any, but we just cannot wait 30 days to answer an email and they're asking us if we've expended any dollars.
And I will forward that to both of you. My response.
Thank you.
Any other additional items of business? Sir?
Just to be clear, I think that now that the board has adopted the resolution, the board probably ought to indicate its preference to advertise or post a position, if that's the board, what the board wants to do.
We got a plan to move forward.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know whether that maybe is something for a future meeting or if that's something the board wants to do.
And maybe that was my intent to do, take care of that business today, so thank you for that. So that being said, I move that we go ahead and post on our website for 5 days for our personnel policy, the position of county manager. At the late time of today, I believe that it would probably take effect tomorrow. So, but I move that we post on our website for 5 days the position of county manager.
Okay, before I would second that, let me make it. We still don't understand what we're gonna post. I don't believe, we got a straw man, call it a straw man, we don't have enough information to post it right now, I don't believe. We haven't agreed on what that job description really is, how much powers are we going, what are we gonna advertise them to do? And if they respond to what we think it might be, and it's not, it's a bait and switch, we can't afford that. I think we ought to have a quick look at what this job description really ought to be, the powers, you mentioned it already, you're talking about what authorities we already are and responsibilities are transferring. I haven't agreed on anything yet, but we better finalize that job description as a county job description, or vote on it. Mike, we're gonna ask your advice.
Well, I mean, having a job description would be helpful to posting the position, absolutely. One of the unusual situations we have here is we have a position that we just created 5 minutes ago.
Right.
So the question, I suppose, one of the many questions the board is going to have to answer is, do we create the job description and then hire from that job description, or do we find the person that we think is the best person for that job and work to develop that job description with that person? I don't know which is the better.
I don't know how we get people to respond if they don't know what to respond to. Do you want to work in Custer County? Not tell them what it's about.
Again, that's for you all. From a legal perspective, do you need the job description set up in great detail before you post it? No. Is it a good idea? Yes.
I thought we had a job description. I'm looking for it, but.
I've got it right here. Brady, it's in the packet. But it was never voted on, we never agreed to it, we just commented on it, said if. Probably should be. I'm getting hoarse. Here's the job description.
If I may. Yeah, as I recall, we spent an inordinate amount of time going over this job description. I happen to agree, it doesn't make a lot of sense to put out a job vacancy announcement without some documentation to dictate what that job is. We've been encouraged, and I agree, that there's nothing wrong with filling a position and then hammering out all the details on the job description as well. We're gonna do that with the BSO office, we'll discuss that, but we do have a job description, and we voted on it for the morning, so. But I'm not sure we have on all of our job descriptions either, I don't know that.
We agonized over the VSO and the PIO and the admin. We rewrote it to get them out there so they applying against it. That's our practice.
And this one that you just provided was the draft after our, I think, 7.5 hour meeting that day. Is that
Yeah, this is it.
correct?
One that he had in Custer County.
Because when you handed me, said.
Oh, yeah, but that was the original.
Okay.
And this is the stuff we added. And I don't know if it's changing, we've never voted on it, we haven't agreed to, given the discussion we had today. There's things that I would recommend changing based on Brady's example, what he put forward. Because he was allowing to keep for us to be still in charge of the committees for whatever reason, as an example. And the boards, et cetera. So that sounds like it's been tweaked. Anyway, we need to sit down and do it deliberately, I think. don't think enough, and to bring it up now is something that we, is not on the agenda.
I think as part of my motion, I would be perfectly fine with posting it with the, and you may correct me if I misspeak here, with the job description that we have not voted on, that we did spend a day going over and hammering out. And then if we need to, at a later date, we can adjust that.
If you change anything, Braden?
Well, I'll second the motion. We're way out of whack here, but, I think that was the intent to, post a position, and my assumption would be to post this job description with it. I could amend the motion to include that if you deem necessary, Mr. Chair.
I would look to our attorney for advice here. Number one, voting to post this job description at this time.
I think that's fine. I think it's within the realm of, sorry, no,
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I think it's in the realm of the agenda item, particularly when we consider the fact that we had an appointment in the original resolution that was amended prior to us.
But I wish it was subject to that.
Well,
It wouldn't have been proper then. It doesn't matter.
I think there's sufficient public notice that this is going to be considered at this meeting.
The initial notice would have been for the position and the county manager all in one fell swoop.
Well, we weren't
Still
gonna post
addressing
it, that wasn't up for grabs, it was appointing into the position, so it was a whole different animal.
I don't think it's a different animal per se. I think what has happened is the board is, after deliberation, changed, I think, what maybe they thought they might be doing. And it, both in response to public comment and in response to its own internal deliberations, but it's still the same topic.
Second question, I guess, for you, sir, then, my statement of including the job description that we have not voted on, but we did spend a lot of time on hammering out.
Your motion essentially adopts that as the job description at this time.
Okay. So, and I did have a second on that, is that correct? Correct. Okay, at this time, I would open it up for discussion here at the table.
I still believe that we should, I still believe we should look at it more seriously on what we actually are gonna give about, because we haven't done that, given the discussion we had today, we made some changes. And I don't want to do that after the fact, so I'm gonna say it.
Would you clarify your timing on this, sir?
Who, me?
The motion, maker of the motion, Kevin. Sorry. You said posted, did you say when and for how, you said?
I don't know if it could be posted tonight or not, but if not tonight, then tomorrow.
I don't know, but it works.
So, I would say if we would post it tonight and get it on the website, and that will be posted for 5 business days. Tomorrow will not count as one of those days, it will, the count then will start on Monday.
Yeah, I was gonna say today wouldn't count either. Today wouldn't count as one.
Correct. So we can have the posting up, it'll be up a little longer that way, but it'll be 5 business days, and then it will be posted. That'll be a general posting, is my intent.
And would you be opposed to waiting until Monday to post that, sir?
we would have the same number of days as posting. If it could be done tonight, I would prefer that, just to have more time being out there.
I think following our history, I think we would look to break to post that. Is that what you're thinking?
Have to keep passing this thing back and forth. Yeah, we need to get those other four mics. Yes, but I think that, given the situation, that the responses should come to the BOCC admin, email address, which Kelly is, monitoring at this time. So that takes the HR department out of that mix at this time.
Would you consider those responses going directly to the chair?
I think, probably, I would prefer them go to the BOCC admin and then they can be, given to us as a whole.
Nobody's in that position right now.
Kelly is monitoring.
What's she gonna be?
Kelly has been monitoring
Okay,
that email every day.
You didn't mean a person, you meant
You're talking about the email address.
That's the email address.
that makes.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay. Anything else from here? Anything in the room?
Nothing online.
Okay, you see nothing online item. Those in favor of posting the job description for county manager, for 5 days, signify by saying aye.
If you mean the posting, the announcement, and the job description.
That is correct. Aye.
In the interest of consistency, nay, because I still believe we should look at it. That's my last point, it's just consistency. True.
Thank you. That motion carries by a 2-to-1 vote. Any other additional items of business?
Is July 19th thing off the table? Because if it isn't, we have not voted to have a special meeting on July 19th. I don't know where we stand with that.
It was the tape, we were tabling it, got this
That
right.
was if we were to table this motion. I would, if we need to vote to hold a meeting to address anything, that position, probably we should vote to do that rather than just setting the meeting. So I would entertain a motion.
That's your intent, sir. I just didn't know what the.
Do what?
Set a special meeting for July.
For what?
I don't know.
Okay. I would move that we set a special BOCC meeting for July 19th for the purpose of appointing a county manager.
Is there enough time to get those in 5 days, when you take an actual count?
Yes,
So there's adequate time to get a response after 5 days of voting.
and we, over 5 days. And then the responses should come in.
So that was your motion.
Yes,
I'll second it so we can have some discussion.
okay, I have a motion and a second to, call a special BOCC meeting on July 19th for the purpose of naming, for appointing a county manager.
1
And that
o'clock.
will be by resolution, correct?
It doesn't, that one doesn't have.
No,
a resolution.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
So
at 1 o'clock.
So make it clear, we have to analyze the candidates, have a discussion on the candidates and select a candidate, so.
Correct. And we can meet beforehand to go over any submissions that we have.
Beforehand, we can do it in public.
Okay, you're gonna have to, that have to be a
It
public.
has to be in
Yes.
public. So it's not beforehand, it's during the meeting. And
Okay.
If I could get a date, identify them by letter or number and have discussion.
Right.
So the question would be time.
I believe 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm sorry, afternoon for me is what I said.
you're prima donna.
Well, I had the whole day, but I just had a
I have
test.
a question on that.
Oh, you do.
Yes.
So, Commissioner Cannon, do you believe your team would be in a position to present to give a presentation at that same meeting or no?
That would be a good thing to do. I'll have to find out because they're all over the map.
I would support adding that to the agenda if they're capable, prior to the consideration of, any applicants.
I would be amicable to, I would be okay with that. How's that?
I believe I'm right.
If I could have got that word spit out, I would have been.
Stay tuned.
Question.
Sorry, I just have a timing question.
Yes,
So you're posting it tomorrow, even though you said it won't count tomorrow, even though we're doing business days. So I know like when I follow statute for stuff that I post, when it says business days, even though we're not open on Friday, I count that as a business day.
I think that the board, what I heard from the board was that it would be, business days would be days the county is open.
Okay,
And so the last day that people would be able to submit would be the 17th, Monday the 17th. And it was posted tonight.
yes. So if the last day that it's posted is the 17th, but you have a meeting on the 19th to consider, when are you gonna interview?
You may know.
Okay,
we will consider everything that comes in. My intent was to consider all of the applicants that came in, but not necessarily interview.
okay,
I think it's fair to say that the board would take whatever action on the 19th would make sense based on the number and type of people who apply. And thus, if there were, a wide variety of people that the board decided they wanted to interview, they wouldn't have to make a decision on the 19th.
Right. that's
They could
just gonna be
instead
my point.
choose to, all right, we're gonna set up interviews over the next
or we're gonna,
so many weeks. But if there's one or two people that, only is broad enough that it allows the board to make that decision on the 19th if it wants to.
Anything else from here?
It looked like if we could get more time, the better it is, because that's quick notice. People respond, so if it's the next Monday, to get it the weekend. Something like that.
I would open it up to the floor for comment.
I just have a question, because it's kind of unclear. There's been a lot thrown around this meeting. So you're gonna possibly appoint before you get the other side? And what is the type of team gonna put on their presentation? Is it gonna be after the manager's hired?
If they have it ready, we're said that we would add them to the agenda beforehand at that meeting. And
Could
if
you
not, then
identify
it would be
yourself,
on.
ma'am?
I'm sorry.
Could you identify
I'm
yourself for the record? Sorry.
Nikita Phillips,
We need that for the record.
I'm sorry.
I know who you are.
It's a nice to have, it's not gonna have an impact on whether we have a county manager or not.
But maybe it'll help with job description or something, you know?
Might.
Well, to your point, though, passing a resolution to create the job doesn't mean we're gonna fill it necessarily. Correct? I mean, if I was on the committee, the Tiger team, I would try to hold out hope that I could sell my product and change your mind. I mean,
That's a possibility, of course.
that's why I said I thought we should have it on the agenda prior to consideration of the county.
That's fine. If that's the case, we can sure do that.
Sir,
This is directed to Commissioner Day and Commissioner Flower. I would just like to say that you both are asinine to even consider the process that you're proposing for this. It is simply asinine.
To make his point more direct, as I said earlier, you guys don't have a position, you have a title, you haven't done the process, yet you're voting for it. Asinine.
Well, with any due respect,
You don't get to
we have
respect.
gone through the process. We've hammered on this. I don't know when we started, as I indicated earlier, I brought this to the county commissioners 2.5 years ago. So I think we've been in serious, earnest discussion about this for 10 or 11 months.
Yeah, the process isn't done yet.
You're gonna post a job, you don't have a final description to hire somebody that you might not actually be hiring. Do you not understand the words coming out of your mouth and how ridiculous they sound? It is beyond me that two adults of supposed stature you have can consider your thought process to be logical. You're out of your minds if you think this makes sense.
Appreciate your input. We do have a job description. The three of us created that job description.
And it's final.
No.
Canada agrees with it.
No.
No.
Any job.
Hence, you don't
description
have a job
can be
description.
Changed.
Couple of asses you are.
anything else? Anything online?
No, sir.
Those in favor of calling a special BOCC meeting on July 19th at 1 p.m. for the purpose of hearing from the other presentation, if they are available, and for considering a county manager, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I will go along with this as long as it's understood whether they're available or not to be there. Understood. Need to have a meeting.
Aye. I
take that as an aye.
Okay, I wanted to clarify that. That motion carries. Any additional items of business? That brings us back to public comment.
Have at it.
Ma'am,
You need me in the microphone at this point in time, really?
For the record, yes, ma'am.
Okay, please get more mics. As someone who listens via Zoom all the time, it's very difficult to hear and understand you often, and especially commentary and use a lot of acronyms that most of the people listening probably don't know. So it'd be nice if you actually said those words. But my remaining question is that I understand, and I'll call them the Tiger Team for whatever reason.
That's what it is, a tiger team.
Okay, I get it, they're little white globetrotters, they're, men and women of business acumen and have valuable input. But we also live in a time when you don't have to all be together in one room to meet, to discuss, to clarify, to fine tune, to gather, and to put together a presentation. So I don't 100% buy that. I know that's the optimal, but that's not the time we live in anymore. Like, is there no way that you could have virtually done this and had it?
Let me clarify.
Okay.
That
Just my
person
opinion.
is out of radio contact and he goes to civilization where there is no internet connectivity to do it. When we tried that,
Okay.
that's why.
Okay.
That's why I can't guarantee that he will be here or Rick for
Because
that.
I just feel like if you're assembling a team and you're never going to be able to assemble them and get them,
No.
get it done, then choose a different team.
I'm just telling you.
Okay. Is that right? Okay.
If he is, I don't know yet. It could happen, that's all I'm saying. And then we do it by Zoom or phone if we've done that already. That's how come we're as far along as we are.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That was just what was lingering in my mind.
And let me,
Oh, we can't.
you got any more points to make on that? Because I want to add a little more color to what you just said, accused us of before. We have heard from other people. I've heard from a county commissioner, several county commissioners, and people say, we should like how you run the meetings, because if you ever sat in on a Custer County meeting, it's a clown show. Try to get to do things in the meetings, and we all three have to agree, and sometimes it does get informal, because we are small, we're lucky. And we can run a meeting, and we can, and I've seen kind of board meetings at the school board, where it's a pre voted on board already, with that, you know, you just ratify it, you know. I think that takes the people out of the situation, and I'd rather have them listen to us ramble on, if that's what it is sometimes, in order to make sure we're doing the right thing for the people.
It's really not you rambling on that I have an issue with.
Okay.
It's all commentary. It's going on while you're talking, all the woo-hoos and the hallelujahs and the lack of decorum
Okay, thank you.
in the meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, two things, Mr. Kennedy, I'm assuming that your group, if they can't all be here, could select a spokesperson or
Well, sure.
several. So,
Yes.
I-
We'll make it happen
I'm not-
one way or the other.
yeah, I
Most
would
likely.
expect maybe 100% of your team to be here in order to.
Unless it's a
present
critical guy.
reasonable,
You're right.
presentation. And then if I just heard you correctly, I'm trying to make sure I did. You said you have had commissioners say to you that they think our meetings are a
Yes.
clown show. Would you care to share the names of those people?
I had Dwayne McFall tell me that he had a person that called him off of Zoom because she never attended a meeting until she went and listens to his, and then
Dude, I don't know how she found out about our meetings, but likes to dial in for the entertainment value. That's a quote from Dwayne. You can ask him about it. Okay, so it does get out there. You don't know it. There's a Zoom out there, there's YouTube, there's a lot of people watching out there that listen to us, as well as they do listen to other people in other meetings elsewhere. So that's why why it's important to me to clean up how we do business and make it as professional as we can.
Agreed, 100%.
Anything else? Okay, I'm not seeing anything on that either, so, that being the case, I will adjourn this meeting at 5:45 PM.
only 5 hours and 45 minutes.